it going? Welcome to season 2 of Living Well. We took a few weeks break. It was a little crazy in the midst of COVID times. I moved, I relocated my studio. Half of my life is still in boxes. So thank you for your patience. But yes, welcome to season 2 of Living Well. I am so excited about the episodes we have coming out over the next few weeks. Tonight, though, we have a very, very special guest. Artist and poet, Mr. Adam Rowa. You may know him from his poetry, which has been viewed over 200 million times on Facebook. He has his own nonprofit called Surrendered Artist. He has established a community online over the midst of COVID, and it's just incredible. He's a speaker. He is just such a talented writer, and we are hosting a workshop a week from tonight together called Right from the Heart, which we'll get to in a minute, but I'm so excited to be able to do this workshop. I hope each and every one of you can come. It's a week from tonight on October 13th. The link is below if you want to check more about that. Let's bring Adam on. Mr. Adam Rowa.
Hello, Miss Lindsay L.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Welcome to Living Well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Officially started by you. So congratulations.
Yay! Success. I always wanted to season premiere Living Well.
Well,
it's written in one of my journals.
Great. Bucket list check.
Yeah. Is this already live? Do we start immediately?
Yeah,
live?
I just like to start going. I just love to capture the energy from the word go.
I don't know if I get the opportunity to just let all the curse words out before we start, but I see that we're recording, so I just didn't know.
I mean, there's always the opportunity to edit, but I just like to just upload content as it is, as natural.
Well, you let me know, because Angus, my producer, is downstairs watching Avatar with Riley. So if it's too loud, let me know. This mic generally cuts out the background noise, but just let me know.
Great. I can hear no Avatar. So that's a good place to start.
Great. Fantastic.
So a lot of viewers watching right now have probably seen me talk about you a little bit over the past few days. We have a bunch of exciting things coming up, but I kind of want to start just talking about your journey. If people have been researching you or looking things up, you've been an actor, a coach, a poet, a speaker. When someone asks you what you do, what do you say?
I help people love life more. Okay. That's what I ultimately do. I do that through the medium of art. And so I consider myself an artist. I use a lot of different words around it, but transformational artist, because I come from the world of transformational work, which is also known as personal development. So life coaching, motivational speaking, mindset coaching, that sort of realm and world. And that's where I actually started. Actually, that's not true. I started in the acting world and artist world when I was really young. And then I thought, you're not good looking enough. You're too small. You're too Asian, all these different things. You can't do that. And so then I went into the business world. And then I said, this is sucking the soul out of me. I get to follow my heart. And so I went back into the acting world and the artist world. And then I had a spiritual awakening. And then I went into the motivational mindset world. And then I've just kind of merged all of them into one. And I prefer the term artist just in general. I'm an artist, and I primarily do that through poetry, music, and film as my main mediums.
So was your spiritual awakening the main thing that inspired you to move on from acting?
I don't like the idea that I've moved on from acting. I like the idea that I'm just taking a bit of a hiatus. Well, because I have a YouTube show called The Art of Choosing Love, which is not acting. What? Say that again?
It's incredible, by the way. If people haven't seen it after they finish this episode, since you're already on YouTube, you need to go look up The Art of Choosing Love and watch it.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. But it's not so much acting because it's a reality show, but it's still filmmaking. I direct directed, produced, and starred in that reality show, and it's free on YouTube. And that experience, as a filmmaker, I still felt very much like I'm in the film world, and being given a script with lines and that sort of thing. I will get back into that at some point. But the spiritual awakening, and I know some people are like, oh God, that term, spiritual awakening. Honestly, I don't know a better term for it. It's just, you don't know that you were asleep until you wake up. And once I woke up, everything was different. And I went, how did I live 28 or 29 years of my life asleep and not know it? And so, but once I had that spiritual awakening, I made a commitment that I would not put any of my energy into anything that spreads fear on the planet, and only put my energy towards things that are spreading love. And that put an end to the majority of what I was doing in Hollywood, because that's all like crime thrillers, horror movies, ads for things that people don't need, like all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, so that's what I meant for move on, but mainly it's just a refocusing, you could say.
Yeah, and taking it into my own hands to focus on the why.
Mm.
A lot of people are focused on the what. So even your first question was like, what do you do? What is the thing that you create? And that was my focus for so long, is I'm an actor. Oh, now I'm a director, or I'm a writer. But at the end of the day, the why is so much more important, because when you find your why, it opens up the world of possibilities to the what that you can do, as long as it's aligned with the why you want to do it.
Totally. So you took off traveling the world. What was that like? Like, was that inspired from the decision to start shooting The Art of Choosing Love? And how did you decide where you wanted to go first? Like, did you just pick a random place and like, all right, here we go? Or did you plan far out in advance?
There wasn't as much planning. My life in general doesn't have that far in advance of planning. I know that you're a bit of a planner and
Yeah.
like to have things planned out. I often don't know where I'll be 2 weeks from now. That's I've gotten quite used to that.
Which is a commendable quality there, Adam Roa.
Oh, thank you. Maybe it's all relative. Depends how you look at it, I suppose. Whatever floats your boat. And for me personally, it came on the heels of a breakup. I was in a relationship for 10 years, 9.5 years, with a woman. That's actually the start of The Art of Choosing Love. Is I brought cameras in to film us moving out the day that we had the U-Hauls come and break up after 10 years. And that since you're already on YouTube, that's called conscious uncoupling, if you want to search it. But I was meditating the next day after this breakup, and there was a voice in my head that just said so loud and clear, film everything, film it, show people what this looks like. And a huge part of that is because people think that love is empirical, like you could look at a situation and say that's the loving thing, and that's not. But love is completely relative to both the giver, the receiver, and the observers. And so it's completely relative. And so I wanted to show people that as I healed from this breakup, as raw and authentically as I could, I was doing my best to choose love, but it's not always easy to know what that is. And when I called up my friend and I said, hey, would you go on the road with me and do this film project? We were shooting with 2 cameramen. I had 2 cameramen with me for 6 weeks before we even knew what we were shooting. We had no idea. We were just filming everything because that was the voice in my head, film everything. So I was just filming everything before we knew we were going to turn it into a show. And where did we go? The first place we went was Hawaii, because my friend Ryan, one of the cameramen, his parents lived there. And so we just went and stayed in Hawaii while we shot stuff. And then we were like, where do we go after this? And I'm very blessed to get invited to speak and perform poetry on a lot of different stages around the world and different events and festivals and things like that. So often it would be we're going to Costa Rica because I'm going to perform at this event, and we might as well stay there for 2 weeks. Or we're going to Norway to speak for the Human Rights Foundation, so let's make that a week. And then so kind of like that, a mix of pleasure, play, work, business, who knows what.
I love it. I love
Is
it.
is this just purely an interview, or do I get to start asking you questions? How does this
There are
work?
no rules. There are no rules to living well. This is just, we're hanging with Adam Rowa, but I have so many questions, and I want everybody to get to know you.
I just feel like they're here for you.
I mean, they're here tonight for both of us, and I want to introduce them to you. So at the beginning of COVID, you started something called Create. I would love for you to tell everybody a little bit about Create. I think that it's just been so inspiring watching you build this community. So let everybody know a little bit about what Create is about, and what is your goal? Like, what is your long-term goal with where you see Create going?
Great question. Create stands for the collective renaissance of education, art, transformation, and entertainment. It was formed at the beginning of COVID and the pandemic, when I was telling people on my social media to socially distance because we had no information, right? And I was like, just take this seriously. Let's figure out what's going on. And everyone was ignoring me. And I got triggered. And I said, why is no one paying attention to me? But then that gave me a moment to sit with that and really think about, okay, what happens if people do start listening to me? It means that they're going to have no physical contact with other humans, no physical touch. They're going to probably lead a more sedentary lifestyle as they stay at home. They're going to eat a bunch of processed foods that live on their shelves. And those are all triggers for mental health and anxiety, PTSD, all of these things, things that a lot of people don't even think about, like how many people are in abusive relationships where they're actually reprieved from an abusive relationship is when they go to work or they go to school. Or as someone myself, who was the victim of sexual abuse when I was really young, thinking of all the kids who have to stay home with their abusers instead of getting to go to school. And, you know, I just, honestly, I felt like people needed a place to go. They needed a community. They needed somewhere that they could go. So I launched this community, and the website is thecreatecommunity.com. And we've been putting on live streamed online health and wellness events for months now, everything from open mic nights to acoustic concerts to breathwork to yoga. And it's evolved into this modern mystery school where we now have a new model of online group coaching for people who are interested in learning, like behind the veil. Like if you want to see behind the curtain of how this whole game, this whole reality works, that may sound ominous, but some of you listening to this or watching this right now know that there's more to it. That's all I can say. Like, you know that there's more to this. There's another layer to this that you're starting to feel, and you may not know what it is. And I wanted to create some place for people to go and learn the fundamentals of what is going on when we talk about the energetics, when we talk about a spiritual awakening, when we talk about people who are starting to get introduced to things like plant medicine and meditation and yoga and astrology. Like, where do you go to learn that? And the vision I have for Create specifically is, where do you go to learn that in a fun, cool, hip, sexy way that invites you to dance and play and sing your way through it, the artist lens on personal development. So that's where it's headed. And anyone who's looking for a community, or for you looking for a place where you can get weekly classes on and develop this part of yourself that's coming online, I highly encourage you to check out thecreatecommunity.com and see if it's a fit for you.
Well, I have to say, it's been super inspiring to just watch you pivot in COVID and really like put on events and just operate in like a purely digital landscape. And this is probably something you are far more used to than me, or even a lot of people watching this, but it's just been really inspiring watching you lean into that and now establish a whole community. And
Thank you. And you're a part of it, just so everyone
I am,
knows.
I am,
Lindsay's a part of it. I've
I'm
been
never,
really impressed. Can I acknowledge you for a moment here, because um, I know I've been blessed to be around a lot of very talented and successful people in my life, and there's something that separates a lot of people, and that's the willingness to keep learning. Like the willingness to keep learning, no matter how successful you are, no matter how um, much you already know. And when you first joined Create, I was just blown away. You just showed up, and I'm like, here's this highly successful, incredibly talented human who is in class basically every single week, learning and growing and expanding. And I just want to take a moment to really acknowledge you for that, because there's so many people in your position who'd say, oh, I'm good enough. Like my life, it looks great already. And so thank you for doing that. And I want everyone to know that you do that so that they can see you as even more of a role model for what you do.
well, thanks, Adam. I mean, I have always been such a nerd. I love learning things. I always like was such a nerd growing up in school. And, you know, when I hear things like Celine Dion still takes a voice lesson every day and BB King took a guitar lesson every day, I'm just like, okay, if the greats are consistently learning and getting better and sharpening their pencil, then who's to say the rest of us don't have a lot to learn, even in the field of like our mastery of what we focus on. And so, yeah, I just love learning. I'm so curious, and I know curiosity killed the cat sometimes, but I just love learning. Okay, you were an artist, and it has been amazing watching you talk about how inspiring art can be. And we have a very exciting workshop that I want to talk about in a minute. But first, you have a nonprofit called Surrendered Artists. And I want to know, why did you decide to start this nonprofit, and what does Surrendered Artists specifically do?
Thank you. Surrendered Artist is a nonprofit that I started with the intention of doing a couple of things. Number one is helping people understand the role of art as a technology. And what I mean by that is what something that you learn in transformational work and personal development work is that in order to heal, we get to feel. Um, Part of the reason why so many of our stories, our beliefs, and our fears, doubts, insecurities, and even what we on the positive end of the spectrum of what we believe we can do and can do well, form when we're young. And the reason is because of how emotionally deep we feel at those times, and when you look at things like PTSD or trauma that stores in the body, what happens is that the cells remember these events and they're attached to emotions. And so when people start to process these old wounds, like I imagine you did in the process of writing Heart Theory, which is an incredible album, by the way, congratulations. It's a really beautiful work of art. When you were going through and like writing Make You, I imagine that there was emotion that was surfacing during that process of uncovering these things that lie in your body, and the healing is attached to the feeling. And yet we live in a society that is designed to numb people out or only give what is the word, artificial dopamine hits, right? So like social media likes, quick hits of sugar, even like the way that our movies and our media is shot, the way it's filmed, the way commercials are done, like all of it is quick dopamine hits. And then we have fluoride in our water, we have chemicals in our food, we have all this stuff that numbs us out so that we don't feel. But what that means is that we also don't heal. And collectively, there's an incredible need for healing. And the beautiful thing is that art is the permission slip. If someone can be as they like the most grizzled, shut down human, doesn't want to show their heart at all. But when they go into a movie theater, they're going because they want to feel something. When they put on Heart Theory, or they're putting it on because of how Lindsay is going to make them feel with her music. That is the power of art. It's a permission slip. It's a technology that we can use to feel, and therefore it's a technology we can use to heal. And so that perspective is something that I've developed over the years, that I really wanted to start a nonprofit to help people understand as receivers of art, but also for people to understand as creators of art, not just professionals, but also people who just want to heal, who just want to express and feel something, which is the very basis for the workshop that I know we'll talk about. But Right from the Heart, the workshop that we're leading on October 13th, is about that as well, for people who just want to learn how to use the technology of art, specifically writing, to express and heal and move some of the stuck emotions that are in there, ready to be expressed. And so that is the primary focus of Surrendered Artists, as well as helping. So we want to teach that. We want to teach that to the youth, specifically when we talk about the healing process, because as much as I'd love to sit here and say we're going to, in the next 10 years, see something where there's no more crime, there's no more abuse, there's no more racism, I'll continue to hold that vision. And I want to equip people with the tool to deal with it if it does show up. Right. So that way we can just heal as we go. So there is a huge component of Surrendered Artists that's focused on empowering the youth with the tool of art as healing. And then lastly, I want to help artists move from the starving artist archetype into the surrendered artist archetype. Because surrender to me is an active thing. A lot of people think of surrender as giving up, but surrender is actually saying, I'm choosing to trust in this thing. And when so many artists believe what I consider to be erroneously, that they have to earn their living from their one artistic expression. Musicians think they have to earn their living through their music. Painters have to earn their living through their painting. And then they've got these day jobs that they're doing while they try and make it in the other thing. But at the end of the day, Lindsay, like your music is the expression of you in musical form. Mm-hmm. People are actually paying you. They're going to your shows. They're watching this kind of stuff. They're doing that because of you. Your expression can look a lot of different ways. It can look like music. It could look like living well. It could look like a writing workshop. Like whatever it is. And I think if more artists realize that what people are actually receiving is their essence, then we can empower artists to start to develop financial sovereignty by monetizing their essence, by offering things more for their fan base. And therefore they don't have to sell out to corporate interests. And that's where the biggest problem lies, is if art is a technology that gets people to feel something and therefore adjusts deep behavior patterns, it's not healthy to have art being used by corporate interests to tell you you're not enough in order to buy stuff. And if we can empower our artists so that they don't have to sell out to corporate interests, we are going to continue this cycle of really healing in a really powerful way. So that's what Surrendered Artist is. And you can learn more at surrenderedartist.org. And I want to let you all know that 10% of your purchase from the Right from the Heart workshop that we are leading on October 13th will go to benefit Surrendered Artists and help empower artists and the youth around the planet with using art as a technology.
I'm so excited that we are donating part of our workshop to Surrendered Artists. I believe in it so much. And I will say that as an artist, it's so freeing to be able to look at creating art as just an expression of what I'm feeling, and not necessarily it needs to be this, it needs to look like this, I need to do this, well, I need to say yes to all of these things because that's how I'm going to make a living. And yeah, it opens up a whole new world when you can look at your life from a different way. So you can say I'm biased. I'm a huge Adam Rowa fan, but you know, when people look into your writing and your poems, they just come from such an inspired place. So I want to know, how do you surrender into your own art? Like, how do you surrender into writing a poem?
Well, I have a four-step process that I follow in creativity in general, because I believe that as artists, as humans in general, but just, let's talk just as artists. I believe that the artistic idea, the artistic expression, it's like it already it's here. It lives here somewhere, like a soul, like a little baby soul that's up here, and we get to be the birth, the mothers of this thing, and birth it to the world. And I think most creatives would agree with that. Like there's this thing where it just like feels like it just drops in. Like we all artists know that feeling. It's like it just dropped in all of a sudden. And I personally, my process is about becoming a match to the idea, and then bringing it through as powerfully as I can, with as little of my own crap attached to it as I possibly can. I like to think of it as like, if you're a garden hose and you're connecting to this tap here and turning that water on, if you have a bunch of dirt inside that hose, it's going to come out dirty. The water is going to come out dirty. No matter how pure of spring water you're tapped into, it'll come out dirty. And so the process of learning how to tap into it, how to have a clean hose, and how to express it out into the world is my process. And I'm excited because that's what I personally am going to share in our Write from the Heart workshop on October 13th, is going into that process for people. And then I know you're probably going to share a bit more, help people a bit more with the practicality of it. I know, like I'm talking over here. What do you got up your sleeve, Lindsay?
Well, I am very excited, you guys, a week from tonight. So October 13th, next Tuesday, I believe at 8 p.m. Central, Adam and I will be hosting a workshop called Write from the Heart. And I'm just excited to be able to really break down the process of being able to lean into creativity. You don't need to ever have written a song before. You don't need to ever have written anything before. But I think that having writing as a tool in your life can be so useful in so many ways, even just as processing our own emotions and what we're feeling. I mean, writing Heart Theory over the past 2.5 years, I feel like I have gotten such a deep level of therapy that I could not have even gotten going to see a therapist, because it's just such an internal deep dive, for lack of a better word, of who you are and what you're feeling. And you can internalize it and process it to just a deeper level when you can communicate it through another medium like art. So I'm so excited to be able to teach you guys how I do it, and to have Adam teach you how he does it from completely different perspectives. And yet we're going to break it down step by step by step. We're going to do writing in the workshop. This is not just like a sit and watch us talk. We're going to get our hands dirty, and we're going to get in there and show you how to do it, and sort of take your hand and lead you along the way, so that you can have this like little piece of magic that I feel we have. I feel like we need to share this secret to you guys.
Yeah, and something that I posted on Instagram the other day about this epic underwater photo shoot that I did, and
So epic.
it was so good. I'm so happy to start releasing those photos. And the what I posted about was, as an artist, the part that so many people overlook is that artists have to choose to create. Like each and every morning, I choose to take out my journal and my pen and write, or I pick up my guitar, or get into studio and work on beats, or whatever it is that I'm doing. I choose it. And there are times I don't feel like doing it. There are times where I feel like it's not working. There are times where whatever, but there are people, I believe that there are people who have lived and died who might have been the best poets or musicians or songwriters on the planet to have ever lived, but they simply never picked up the pen. And so for me, it's a matter of, it doesn't matter if you want to be a professional or if you simply want to learn how to express through a tool that I believe is the most powerful tool that we have for our expression. I explained art as a technology. So it really is for anyone who wants to deepen their relationship with art. And the cool thing is when you deepen your relationship with art, the art gives back. The art gives back to you. It lets you see parts of yourself that you couldn't see before you started creating the art. It lets you see parts of yourself and what's going on internally that you may not have known, and things that can excite you, things that might like scare you. Like, I didn't know that was in there. But at the end of the day, it expands you. It expands your awareness of yourself. It's a journey of self-discovery. And the more that you discover about yourself, the more that you open up the possibilities for what you can achieve in your life, because there's more of you can bring to life. And so I know you're incredibly passionate about the power of writing and songwriting. And I, as a poet who is now making music, stepping into songwriting has been a new edge for me. But I'm seeing, like a student again, I'm seeing the ways in which it's the same. You can express, you can tap so deep into yourself. So I encourage anyone who's interested in unlocking this from yourself, like, take the leap. Come join us on October 13th, 8 p.m. Central Time, right from the heart. It's going to be a good one. We're going to leave. Can we leave a link in the description here, or what?
Link is already down there.
There we go.
One step ahead of you, Adam. Yeah, I think, the coolest part to me is it's all about play. Like, this is all about having fun and maybe exploring a part of your brain that you haven't really explored before, or letting yourself go there when you've always been like, I think I can do that. I think I want to do that. Like, we're going to take 90 minutes and just have fun. So, I may even play like a few little clips of unreleased songs that I have never shown before to the whole world, that I may have been working on over the past few weeks. I don't know. We'll see. In a week from tonight, you all need to show up to hear. Maybe.
And how, by the way, for those of you who may not even just be aware of this, I'm stoked to be there watching Lindsay L. write. None of you realize, like, she's got major hits on the radio. And so the opportunity doesn't come around very often to get to sit and write and learn from someone of your caliber, Lindsay. So, like, I'm going to sit back with my own notebook, just taking notes on your process. And yeah, so it's an incredible opportunity. And I'm grateful that you and I have gotten to connect, and really, I can see how similar, like, we overlap so much in the way that we use art, and we're going to be able to explain it in different ways. Mine will probably have more of the kind of like hippie woo-woo attached to it.
And mine will be like the theory brain, like the 1 to the 5 to the 4 to the whatever.
Totally. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is like, you're going to get both perspectives. So we will cover it for everyone, no matter how your brain works. The ticket page is at adamroa.com under the events thing. And we have a link in the description, it sounds like. And Lindsay, I'm stoked. I'm excited. What are you going to...
I'm so excited too. I can't believe it's a week away. I'm so excited. I really hope you guys come hang out with us. I can't wait.
It's going to be, it's crazy how fast it's approached. I remember when we had the idea
talking about this. Yeah, I know. It's like, what? It's a week from tonight.
Yeah.
So click on the link, get your tickets. Definitely come hang out with us. Adam, you just do all the things. You just relaunched your podcast yesterday. Congratulations. It's called The Deep Dive. It's awesome. Thank you. Good.
Thank you. Yeah, for all you YouTubers, the video version of the podcast is here on YouTube, and then the audio is everywhere that you find it. It's a labor of love. And Lindsay is my guest for that. We traded season premieres, so I get to do a season premiere here. And Lindsay is the first guest of the new season of the Deep Dive podcast, and so she will be live in the Create community tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow. Everything's happening. And then Monday, that will release. So if you want to see Lindsay and I chat it out like this live, it's tomorrow in the Create community. And then if you can't make that, Monday, it'll be live everywhere that podcasts are, or on the YouTube here. But yeah, I'm going to come with, I didn't realize this was going to be just, you had so many questions prepared. I'm going to come with some hardcore questions.
goodness. No, I want everybody to get to know you so that they know next week that they're getting knowledge from a wizard brain in your fields. I'm just so excited. You guys definitely check out the link below in the description. It's called Right from the Heart. We will be leading this workshop next. Adam, thank you so much for kicking off season 2 of Living Well. I don't think the season could have started any better.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. There is no comparison since I'm the first one of the season. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. It's a real it's a real pleasure, Lindsay, to get to drop in with your audience here. And again, I just want to shout you out and appreciation. I've gotten to see some of the behind the scenes of how you work, especially as we start to deepen our collaboration, and to be able to observe how much you work at it. For everyone who is a fan of Lindsay, understand that this girl works her butt off, and so that is important. I like to be as honest and authentic, because sometimes, so I don't know if you're a celebrity. Are you a celebrity? You're a celebrity in my mind. But in the celebrity world, I feel like they make it look so easy. No one talks about how hard that it is. And so, yeah, just acknowledging you and appreciating you, and for doing this and letting people see kind of deeper into an artist's journey. It's such a big part of it for me. And I just appreciate everything that you're doing. Thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah, I don't really use the word celebrity. I don't know if that word is just weird to me, but I do think that people don't see the like non-glamorous side of this business. And then also the fact that I am just so grateful for every single one of you watching right now, because you guys are the reason why I get to do this and call this a job, as well as I'm grateful that I have art to lean into to process my whole life, which is what we're going to teach you next week. So sign up. The link is below. Adam, thank you so much. We'll see you in a week.
Yeah. See you all soon. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye. Thank you, Adam, so much. You guys, I am so excited about the workshop next week. If you are free next Tuesday night, please come join us. It is going to be truly special. I have never done anything like this before. So come participate. Come get a ticket and hang out with us. Well, now it is time for one of my favorite times of the week, where we spotlight some good news and some good things going on in this world, because I truly think that optimism and positivity is such a wonderful thing to wrap our hearts around. So let's hear the wELLisms of the week. All right, wELLism number 1. Some new enzymes have been discovered that are produced in the stomachs of certain bacteria that triple the speed at which plastic can be broken down and recycled. This will provide a serious opportunity to combat plastic pollution throughout the world, and specifically help reduce the amount of work and time it previously took to break down plastic from weeks into a matter of mere hours. That's amazing. Amazing. Oh my gosh, recycling plastic. It cannot happen fast enough in this world. We will save our planet. All right, wELLism number 2. A determined dad has cycled a crazy 200 miles while riding his 8-year-old daughter's tiny pink bicycle. In an effort to raise money for local charities and hospitals, Wesley Hamnett spent 6 days busting 8 tires on his $26 ride. But he raised over $11,000 for local charities and the local hospital. Wesley, congratulations. That is so commendable. And you just look amazing on your daughter's pink bike. All right, wELLism number 3. Tim Joris is a 45-year-old teacher and father of 3 that was diagnosed with colon cancer last year. In July, despite his chemotherapy treatments, the doctors told him he only had a few months to live. One thing Joris was determined to take care of before time ran out was to make sure his family home got painted blue, his wife's favorite color that she always wanted, even if he wasn't there to do it himself. One of his best friends heard of this little promise and surprised him that following Saturday with a huge crew of former coworkers. 5 hours later, after brushes and sprays and rollers and ladders were put to the test, the Joris family home was now blue. Tim, we are here for you and for your family. We are sending you so much love. All right, you guys, season 2 of Living Well is officially kicked off. We are going to be focusing on songwriting for the next few weeks. I'm going to be bringing on some of my favorite writers in town, talking to them about their process. I am just all about inviting you into my process and why I feel it's so important to be able to create through your own emotions. So please join us next week. It is called Right from the Heart. Our workshop is Tuesday night, so it'll be right after Living Well. If Living Well happens at 7 p.m. Central, then the workshop happens at 8 p.m. Central, but you need to buy your ticket in order to get let in. So the link is down below. Please come hang out with us. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.